Hey everyone, welcome back. This is
Justin Hall.
And this is part 2 of the Artist in Residence series. And today we are going to show you some fabulous creations.
So exciting.
Last time we gave each of us different categories.
Yes.
And we were supposed to come up with outfits, ensembles for it.
Yes.
Tell me about your process. What did you do? How much digging and how much making did you do?
I didn't have to make anything. It was a lot of digging and it was a lot of thrifting. So I was surprised to find that a lot of the things that I already had in my wardrobe kind of fit within the parameters of the inspiration. I did DIY one jacket for my military-inspired look.
And it looks great.
Yeah, it's a vintage authentic military jacket, but then I customized it and made it more, personable. And so that was a DIY project that I already had. So it was fun to actually get to use it for a challenge.
I love it. We'll talk more about that. So today we are just going to go through picture by picture and we're going to talk to you about our inspirations for the look and how it came about. So let's talk about your first outfit.
Oh, let's talk about the 1970s.
Let's talk about the 70s.
Yes, so I had drawn 1970s Americana, and at first I was thinking Woodstock and disco, but then I started looking at blaxploitation films of the 1970s. I'm thinking Shaft, I'm thinking Dolomite, Foxy Cleopatra, and then parodies that came later after, like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, these kind of pro-black 1970s powerful movies that were showcasing black people in very positive sort of ways in the community, but with style and flair and kind of panache of the 70s. I was looking at wide collars, mixed prints, turtlenecks, statement hats. We'd call them pimp hats, like the certain angle you'd wear them at.
Not the statement.
Yes, the statement hat, like an angled hat, a good boot.
Yes.
Other things that I was looking at was the color palette of the 70s. Earthy tones. We're just coming out of the 60s. That was kind of that Kennedy era. So where things were a bit more frothy and a bit more prim. The 70s was a huge departure from that. So a lot of things that were going on socioeconomically, with the war and with things happening, there were a lot of conflict. And so people were getting to earthier tones and a bit grittier and kind of finding new ways. We're entering into free love as well. So the disco era, so there was a certain kind of sexiness that I wanted to evoke with the look. So mixing prints, the fit of the pants, we have a plaid pant with a kind of nice cognac Chelsea boot, a heavy coat. In theory, it's fabulous in its 70s, but it is heavy.
Under lights and in theater.
Under theatrical lighting for
We've
a photo
been kidding
shoot.
all day. Who designed this?
Who designed this? Who chose all these layers? But that is an actual vintage piece from the 70s, from Sears.
Yes.
It's a corduroy coat that's completely fur-lined on the inside. I found that at a thrift store many years ago. I think I paid maybe $8 for it.
Yes.
Did a faux turtleneck, threw on some big aviator sunglasses to kind of give it that disco era sexiness, and it was a hot look, literally. But I enjoyed it.
It was hot, like it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. You mentioned Dolomite, right?
Yes.
Ruth Carter.
Yes.
Designed Dolomite. Tell me about Ruth Carter because she's an inspiration.
Ruth Carter is such a huge inspiration. A lot of people will know her work from the Black Panther movie, but she also did the work on Dolomite. My Name is Dolomite, and the work that she does, she has a reference of just not the source material, but also street culture, high fashion. She brings all of this perspective, the black experience. Within this past year, she even came out with a limited line, and it's sold out immediately. Like exactly, people could not wait to get their hands on the stuff that she was creating.
With?
I believe
Was it Gap? Express?
H&M?
H&M?
One of these, I should know.
We couldn't get a pair, so.
We tried. Perhaps we were looking in the wrong places.
I know.
She's like, it's right here, guys. Buy it.
Ruth, if you're watching this, please send us something.
Please send us something. I'd love it. We missed the wave.
Yes.
But I'd love to represent. But yes, but the work that she did on My Name is Dolomite with Eddie Murphy and just quite a large cavalcade of Black entertainment, she really kind of tapped into that 1970s swagger and sexiness. And there was a way that Black people were wearing clothes at that time that completely influenced the overall aesthetic of the 70s because we were showing that there was power in print. There was power in statement collars, big afro hair, wearing the gold jewelry, wearing the platform shoes, things that were in the neighborhood were status symbols sartorially, became a cloak of empowerment, and then that pimp culture, but then it kind of widespread in the element of cool and the element of sexy that is synonymous with the 70s, and I think Ruth Carter completely tapped into that. Another Black costume designer, Paul Tazwell, he says that one reason he got his foot in the door, and he was, for a while, was synonymous with working on pieces that featured people of color, was that there were so few people of color working in the costuming industry. I mean, yes, there were plenty available, but those that had their foot in the door, and I think Ruth Carter is on that list of people who have a specific knowledge from the inside of the Black experience, of the minority, if you will, experience, to bring that to a piece. So it's almost like they speak the same language.
That's beautiful. I loved your outfit. You'll see more of it. My first outfit was 1920s inspired.
Yes.
So I did some research, and obviously you saw there was moments of jazz and Gatsby and stuff like that. But I was fascinated about a pair of pants called the 44-inch, and then the other one where it's like, it was billowy, and then
they're like knickerbockers.
Yes, but like 4 inches below. Anyways, I became obsessed with these wide-legged pants.
I love that.
So I found these beautiful houndstooth wide-leg pants, paired it with because I didn't like the wide-leg 44-inch started in Oxford, England. And I was like, that's cool, but I wanted to add a little Eastern influence to it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I created this billowy top, a crane top, with the open sleeves and the collar, just to add a little more shape to the fact that the bottom was so flared out, which was beautiful.
Yes.
It made the waist that much smaller.
Well, what I loved about the look that you created, even if you didn't realize you were doing it, it was almost a reference to like that 1920s. During the 20s, there was a sort of affinity for things that were Eastern inspired. So the fact that you created this kind of, how to say it, what I know about, because I've costumed a production of Gatsby, and particularly in women's wear, pajama dressing, luxurious pajama dressing was a thing, and robes and kimonos for evening wear. There were,
because it was the hot new thing.
Exactly, and I think that with the crane print on the top that you created with this kind of billowy sleeve, but the emerald green of it all and the color, and then the repeated print of the cranes almost felt Art Deco. It's something that you would see like in a swanky hotel. What most people don't realize is that a lot of what we consider to be fashion, as far as silhouette and the rules of fashion, a lot of it was originated in the 1920s. A lot of it is originated, especially with women's formal wear, the cuts of, you can look in history and see things like the high-low hemlines of gowns, one-shoulder dresses, backless dresses, like all of that. All the 1920s is where that really kind of started.
What was happening?
Oh, I think the next look was monarch, like the dynasty, monarch realness, rich opulence. I had fun with this. I mean, I dress normally in life. I like to feel as if the look is lifted in my life in general, but this was a moment to kind of step, almost into like the drag of it all, like more jewels, more layers. Yes, high, and it feels as if though, during that photo shoot, it felt like oh my gosh, immediately I'm thinking of like those magazine photo shoots for like Vibe magazine in the like the early 2000s.
Yes.
Well, because it was the brocaded coat, it was the good gilded rings,
It
the
was
jewels,
opulent.
the heavy,
word.
again, a heavy fur coat draped over the shoulders, but it was just the layered opulence of it all. I think was
It's
very
like
fun.
monarchy Americana.
Yes, it's kind of like I took the ideas of what royalty and the dynasties of the past would consider status symbols. Silks, brocades, jewels, furs, gold, and then translated it into a Black American sort of aesthetic, almost a hip hop aesthetic. Fun fact, that brocaded coat I actually found again at a local Goodwill with the original tags on it. For all of you TV buffs, it is actually a replica of the tuxedo jacket worn by Terrence Howard in the television series Empire. It is that jacket.
Gorgeous, the rich, the luxury.
Yes!
Lux.
Who doesn't love a hint of luxury every now and again?
I'm poor, I do.
I mean, yes, indeed.
So my second look was a designer of color, and I found this designer based in Vietnam, Thao Nguyen. Her design is all about sustainability, which we should all be about.
Yes.
Sustainability for the future. But I saw she had this beautiful pattern upon pattern, plaid upon plaid upon plaid, and I was like, how does this work? And it did work. Once again, the whole mixing of patterns thing. Usually I would be like, that's too much. But in the too muchness is everything.
Yeah, it's almost maximalism.
Yes.
It's just where you're more things, and in the chaos of it all, it's like,
there it is.
It's a masterpiece.
Yes.
It's like there's so much going on.
Yes.
But in a weird way.
It works.
It works.
Yeah,
it works.
it's the opposite of what Coco said.
Precisely.
Don't take it off, put
it
more on.
Put it on. And while you're at it, few more things.
Yeah, I really, really like that outfit. And then to the sheer, because we're moving out of a sheer moment in life, but the sheer turtlenecky sports top I also adore too.
What I loved about that was that it was almost utilitarian because it had it was like an industrial zip and pockets.
Like a hoodie.
Yes, and then the personality of that kind of coat that had almost a Mandarin effect when you had the collar up, but if it was down, it became almost
something
British.
else.
But with the juxtaposition of the two plaids, the boots, I was
Vivienne Westwood's galoshes, the water boots.
The water boots. I mean, if you have to have them,
put them in.
Yes,
I
darling.
love those Viviennes I found at a consignment store for like $12, and I went online. I was like, how much are these really?
That is amazing. Like it's fun when you find something, a treasure, and it's a steal, but then you go on to find out what like the legit price of it is.
It's that thrill of the hunt again.
And then you feel like, wow, I'm truly curating treasures. I'm curating treasures.
Curating.
A curated closet.
A curated closet. I love it. Jinx. Stop it. Okay, sorry. Third outfit.
Third outfit for me, I believe it was military. Yes. So for the military, the jacket that I was wearing was a thrifted jacket, authentic. It was an army jacket, and I had added patches. I was feeling a Gucci moment. Gucci and Ralph Lauren both had this aesthetic of taking camouflage, but then giving it a varsity edge. So Letterman's patches, a mascot. I added a Black Panther mascot. I added, the Black Lives Matter fist. I had the eye, the Stay Woke eye. I had Starbucks, like an American flag, just a kind of black and white motif that I added to it. I added J. Hall to it, my birth year as well. So it was a very personal jacket.
Yeah.
But it still felt, fashionable. It said something, but it also was very personable to me.
Polished punk. It would be something that what's her face who does the cartwheels would love.
Oh, who does?
Betsy Johnson.
Yes.
Betsy would love that.
I love a Betsy Johnson moment. I will take it. Snakeskin crossbody bag. We did a black Chelsea boot. I wanted to kind of play into the idea of the army sort of fatigue chic of it all. So the fingerless gloves. I did a black kind of skull cap, and I had these necklaces that I've had since high school. I'll let you do the math, how many years I've had these. But it kind of acted like dog tags to have kind of necklaces. And I just just kind of liked the edginess of it. It's not something that I typically would wear in my own life, but kind of living in that edginess, it felt more than fashion. It felt like armor. Like you said, it felt like it would be something that when I'm wearing it, when I go out into the world, it is very much a powerful look.
A statement.
It's a statement.
Power. Yes. My third look was festival.
Yes.
What is it? Oh my God, I had so much fun with this because Justin and I went, because I went shopping like months ago, and I found this just bag of handkerchiefs, men's handkerchiefs. I found a Burberry one in there. What else? There was another designer.
There was stuff from Saks, but there was Burberry, there was Dior.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was just
men's handkerchiefs. So I had a harness, a leather harness, and I just added the handkerchiefs in, and then the more I added, it looked like a Korean hanbok. Like the traditional women's wear.
Very billowy.
Yeah, it's billowy.
From the
bosom.
bust. Yeah, from the bust up. Yeah.
From the bosom. And then I just threw on a pair of palazzo, like drop crotch, big. Because I was thinking Burning Man. I was thinking outside. I was thinking that type of environment.
But I loved how you had taken the Mad Max of it all, with the leather of the harness, but also the leather mask you had created with the fur trim. Because you're outside.
Right.
Mask up.
But
make it fashion.
So, leather and fur was what we were going for.
Well, and you achieved it. I love the fact that you had kind of taken this found object. It was, it felt gritty, dirty, almost not dirty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was very much like a found object, sort of celebratory. It was a celebration. I could see someone dancing in the desert.
Yes.
With this stuff, with the silks.
Silks,
Well, you're working with the textiles of silks, leather, fur. And just adding the element of fire and sand and wind, just
music video.
Yes, it just felt very free, almost in a postmodern, post-apocalyptic hippie sort of way. But I thoroughly enjoyed that mask that you had hand stitched. It just brought out the different textiles and the earthiness of it all. And I teased you and was like, oh, it's like a Neverland vibe. It was like it was very a Lost Boy. It was just a high fashion Lost Boy moment.
Thank you.
I was all the way here for it.
I loved it. I wish we had festivals so I can wear it somewhere.
You can wear it in your backyard. You host a festival of one.
Of one in my backyard. I'll live stream. I'll have a fire.
You get your glow sticks and you twirl.
Twirl, baby. Swell. Scars for everyone.
Yes, I enjoy that.
So your next look is East meets West.
East meets West, yes. This was a challenge for me. I tried to stay away from things that were too on the nose. And then I had, again, thrifted this piece. And it was a piece that I had found. It was on the rack. And I didn't quite know what to make of it. It was this kind of Nehru collared, long tunic shirt dress almost, that reminded me of a traditional men's kurta, which is like a tunic button-down shirt of sorts. Then I was like, oh, I wonder if I put that on and almost dressed it in a traditional Indian fashion almost. So I had the tunic shirt with a fitted sort of pant, and then I had put sandals with it, and then I had this draped sort of pashmina, sort of printed scarf of sorts. And then I was like, okay, this feels Eastern. It's Middle Eastern, but it's Eastern of a sort. And then I was like, okay, well then let's kind of add a Western hip hop vibe to it with the gold chains, a little bit of bling.
Yes.
That Western wide brim hat of it all. And it kind of changed. I added, the gold spectacles. It kind of had like you said, almost a National Geographic.
But a beautiful National Geographic. Like, it looks like you were on the verge of discovering a new type of fusion, which I appreciated.
Currently, there is a departure in feeling like certain garments are only meant for men. Certain garments are only meant for women. I think with the exploration of skirts for menswear, making almost unisex fashion, I think in that same vein, the idea of the tunic or the shirt dress is now finding its way into a more masculine realm. And I think that traditional Nehru collared long tunic situation is a way for men to kind of feel as if though, okay, it's a shirt. It just happens to be a little long. It's a little longer, but it's like playing with that. You could almost take this streetwear and do the tunic look with, a real badass sneaker, and it would feel, something akin to that. I slap on some gold chains lately, and it just felt like a hip hop moment. It felt right.
So my fourth look was color blocking. I literally closed my eyes, and the two colors came up was like this vibrant, the pants color, like what would you call it? It was like an electric blue.
It was electric blue. It was
almost violet, ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet blue. It wasn't a royal blue. It had more punch. It was almost like the most primary Crayola crayon blue you could possibly get.
And then on top of that, I was like, let me just put a bold yellow on it.
I loved the playfulness of it all. Like,
playful, yes.
Yeah, it's because there was a moment where it's like, is it too playful? It's like, no, we're color blocking. Like from the Chuck Taylors and the shoes to there was a moment you even played with like a blue hat. It was just kind of playing with the youthful vibrancy of playing with the most primary of colors. Taking the most the color at its rawest essence, and just getting to play. It was like working in a Crayola crayon box again. Yellow, blue, fun.
Yes, magic.
It was wonderful, and you got to kind of play with the youthfulness.
It was so. Welcome to Disney Channel.
Yeah, hi, I'm Thao, and you're watching the Disney Channel.
Your fifth look.
My fifth look, the theatrical inspiration. And I had racked my brain on what to do with this. Because my livelihood is creating theatrical costumes, and I didn't want it to come across as costume. But I also wanted to do something a bit of unexpected, and I just went back and thought of the musical that brought me into musical theater was The Wiz. I remember going to the Fabulous Fox in Atlanta, and it was the tour, the revival tour, but Stephanie Mills was still playing the part of Dorothy. She was well into like her 20s, probably 20s or 30s at this point. It was the 90s. But she was still petite, and she was still singing her full head off.
When I think of home.
Yes, and just belting to the high heavens, and people standing on their feet to watch this tiny girl play this such open role and character. And it was my first original Broadway cast album that I ever had. So I remember singing the songs of The Wiz always. And
with Diana.
Yes, but I became obsessed with the movie with Diana Ross. So then I was like, oh, well, I can color block a menswear version of the Diana Ross costume from the 1978, I believe, 75 or 78, it's somewhere in there, of the Motown The Wiz outfit. But I loved the idea of the palest of youthful colors on her in this pink, this white, juxtaposed with the silver slippers. And it gave me an opportunity to brush off my own silver slippers.
Your silver slippers. Yes. They're beautiful. I hope the camera catches them. They're gorgeous.
They are a
Cinderella, eat your heart out.
Yeah, it was a full-on silver sequin slipper loafer moment, and I had not worn them at all
until this moment.
Yeah, until this moment. So it felt right to slap on an afro wig, bring my little dog, my dog Tuxedo, to be my Toto, and to live my Diana Ross as Dorothy moment. Just to live that moment, because that film, that musical, both iterations, on stage and in film, was such a powerful thing to the Black community to take an American fairy tale like The Wizard of Oz and make it urban and make it speak to the Black experience. It resonated with me then, and it still resonates to me now.
So if you remember our last episode, we miscounted. I miscounted somehow, and and made it into an audience participation, and y'all choose streetwear, which I could have just closed my eyes and grabbed from my closet because I love streetwear.
Yes.
It's just for me, it's the ultimate form of expressing yourself without saying anything.
Yes.
You can walk down the streets and then streetwear changes based on what streets you're walking down, right? A New York street, a Milan street, a Ho Chi Minh, Saigon street, Harajuku. It depends on where you are, but my person, we were walking down a New York street, and it was just how comfortable can I be, yet still how fabulous I can make this moment.
I loved seeing the different elements in the crossbody green bag that coordinated with, the kind of Gucci ribbon with the pearlescent bee that was speaking to, the stripe element in the socks and the sneakers and the shirt, the casual with the formal.
Mixing sportswear and formality.
Yes.
But low-key not giving a shit about it, which is the magic of streetwear.
When you just pile it on. Again, the maximalist idea of just not thinking too much about it and just enjoying yourself as you're putting things on that seemingly is just functional.
Right.
But it's fabulous.
It's fabulous because there's an expression, there's a story there,
yes. It was just such a neat, versatile look. I love that.
Okay, the last look was the 2021 prediction.
Yes, it was.
My 2021 prediction, I see a lot of florals. I see a lot of pastel-y pinks and greens and whites. I see a lot of lighter colors to bring us out of this moment of darkness. Mm-hmm. I think the world it's trying to look for a moment of lightness.
Yes.
So I think you see a lot of designers now rolling out blues and rolling out bright colors. So I'm following that trend, but also with incorporating some Asian looks in it. So the top I made, because I couldn't find it, it's kimono-esque, mm-hmm. but very origami, very papery. Mm-hmm. But also, I love the deconstructionness of it.
Yes.
The strings just hanging out. I think that's what I'm predicting. I'm also predicting sustainable fabrics.
Yes.
For 2021 because that's where we need to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm predicting sustainable fabrics, light pastel-y colors. I'm predicting an Asian wash of some sort. And I'm predicting comfort. Mm-hmm. Like, there's beauty and there's structure, but also comfort. Like, you can have a billowy top, but a structured billowy top. I think that's where we're heading to for 2021.
That's amazing. I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly. I will piggyback on the things that you said, particularly in the vein of searching for positivity in textiles and in colors. I believe there were a few designers that were featuring even blue skies with cumulus cloud print is a thing that is emerging in fashion right now.
Because that's what makes us happy.
The happiness, blue skies, the fact that we've been quarantined,
right.
to see open skies and the positivity behind that, I think is a huge thing that's upcoming. We had been in such a time where the bodycon dress, the skinny jeans, the fitted suit blazers, we are actually seeing, and it happens in fashion a lot, it's about a 20 to 30 year resurgence of something that we reach into the past and bring back to make it current. And right about now, we're seeing a return to 90s era and early 2000s era of fashion. It's a loosening up, not just for the function and the comfort of it all, of having a few more extra inches of fabric to kind of relax into. You're looking at, 90s era Versace with, the bold prints and a billowy silky shirt, but also the pajama-esque-ness of it all in athleisure. It's a baggier, looser, more relaxed fit to kind of give ourselves a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
And I think, that's something that we're going to be looking forward to. In colors in the future, it's so interesting because right at this point in time when we're filming this is when they are having Fashion Month. It's happening in overseas, and much like you said, brighter, bolder, more positive colors. We've had a time of somber colors, but I think that people are going to dive into the psychology of color to lift their spirits. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be positive. It's going to be strong.
Yes, and I think that's a great way to end our segment. This whole experience has been a highlight of my month. Highlight of ever since I presented the project to you. I was like, I can't wait just to play and to see how these pictures look.
Likewise.
And like you said, it's inspired me to look at my closet again.
Absolutely.
And say, let me just add this moment, or let me just make this moment, because before this, I would never have thought to put certain things together, but this is resurgence what I needed at this moment.
It's a creative way to look at the curated closet that you have and to just go in there like a giant dressing up box and just play, like have fun.
Go into your closet and play.
Just play.
So if you want to continue following J Hall Design, you can follow Justin at
J Hall Designer on Instagram and Justin Chavoid Hall on Facebook. I don't have like a TikTok or anything like that. I'm so old school.
We don't need it. It's fine.
It's cool. It's banned now, right?
I think Walmart's trying to buy it out, but here we are.
We won't discuss it.
We won't talk about it. Thank you so much for appearing on this.
Thank you.
This is so much fun, and more collabs in the future.
Please, and thank you.
Maybe we should do something else. I don't know. We'll think about it. Give us some suggestions. Until the next Artist in Residence, we'll see you later. Bye.